So I'm on the B&H website, about to do something that I never thought I would do. Order a Panasonic camera. So let me click in here. They have a bundle deal. Wait, I'm gonna save $800 buying 2 lenses. All right, here goes nothing. All right, so how did I get here? We need to go back probably about 13 years to better understand. So I started my creative career as a photographer who was a steadfast Canon enthusiast, and I honestly never thought that I would ever leave. Now, as I transitioned into the video world, it took about 4 to 4.5 years for Canon to upgrade from the 5D Mark III, which is the camera that I had, to the 5D Mark IV. That made me switch to the Canon killer, aka the Sony a7S II. Sony was in an incredible season of innovation, where Canon seemed to be holding back all their pro features for their pro camera lines. Ironically, Sony did a similar thing, and it took them 5 years to create the Sony a7S III from the a7S II. So what led up to me switching to Panasonic? I need to be fully honest. I was forced to make a choice about cameras. If you haven't been following along with our channel, back in February, our studio was broken into and all of our cameras were stolen. Well, except for the Sony FS5, which we had on sale for probably months on Craigslist. So this was an opportunity to make a decision on what direction we wanted to go with cameras. Our immediate camera purchases included 2 Blackmagic Pocket Cinema 4K cameras. These are ones that we've had in the past, and they're super versatile and affordable, and it's something that would keep our company running as we had to keep going with shoots. And here's the thing, we had a Sony a7S III and a Sony a7 III that were stolen, and we needed some mirrorless cameras that could do both photo and video with great autofocus. So which cameras did we consider? Now, the easiest move would have been to rebuy the Sony a7S III and Sony lenses. Though it had a lot of robust features, I never loved the color, and it's quite expensive at $3,500. Canon has some equally expensive camera bodies that we looked into, and since we don't plan on this being our A camera or primary camera, we wanted a more versatile, budget-friendly camera. The 3 cameras that we were considering buying were the Sony a7 IV, which is $2,500, the Canon R6 Mark II, which is $2,500, and, drumroll please, the Panasonic S5 IIX, which is $2,200. So why did the Panasonic win? There are a few key reasons why we ultimately chose the S5 IIX over the Sony and Canon. First was the price. Not only is this camera $300 cheaper, but their f1.8 prime lenses are pretty solid autofocus lenses for a fraction of the cost of both Canon and Sony primes. Not only that, with the current release of the S5 IIX, I was able to buy the 50mm 1.8 lens and the 85mm 1.8 lens for $48 and $198. Let me say that a little differently. I bought $1,050 worth of lenses for $250. The second reason was the log profile and color. One of my team members, Matt, is a Panasonic fanboy, so much so that Panasonic actually recently sent him an early production model of the S5 IIX to review. This gave me early access to test this camera. When color correcting and grading the log footage from the Panasonic, I found that it was much more neutral in color and much more fun to grade than both the Sony and the Canon. Third is simply versatility. This camera has so many different options for filming. It has 6K 30 frames per second in OpenGate 10-bit, as well as 4K 60. Now that may be gibberish to some, but what that really means is it's incredibly impressive. Between photo and video, this camera has a ton of great features while maintaining an incredible price point. Fourth is autofocus. While I still feel that Canon and Sony are a little bit ahead on the autofocus, Panasonic has gotten really close on this camera. One concern I had, and my biggest negative about this camera, is that the 4K 60 is a 1.5x crop. But when I tested the footage, it doesn't really add add any negative impact to the footage. It just is a punch-in, which is a little bit of a bummer. All right, so does this make me a Panasonic fanboy? Someone who's on the Panasonic bandwagon for life? Probably not. But here's why I say that. I honestly believe that your camera arsenal, your kit of cameras, should have some variety to them. Now, granted, it's good to have some that match, so we'll likely end up buying a second Panasonic S5 IIX so that they just match easily when we do a lot of talking head content pieces. But there's a lot of different cameras that work in different situations, and I don't think that this camera is perfect for all of them. We'll likely buy a red Komodo or even a FX6 from Sony at some point, because those are great, more cinema level cameras. But the red does 16-bit RAW, which I just don't need that large of files for a lot of the content that we create. And so having a camera like this that is more versatile, that can be used in a bunch of different situations, on the gimbal, on the go, is likely gonna be much easier for us. But there's a lot of productions where we need a little more high-level camera. Now the truth is, with these Panasonic cameras and their ability to record externally some 12-bit RAW, you'd likely be able to pair pretty well with the Red or the FX6, but you just need to have the right tool for the right job. And I just don't think that Panasonic altogether has all the right cameras for what I want to do for this production company. Our camera should hopefully ship in the next week or two. And once we've had a little more time with this camera, we'll hopefully give you a little more in-depth review, as well as talk about why we chose the S5 IIX over the S5 II. Thanks as always for watching. Make sure you subscribe to our channel if you want to see more content like this, and check out one of our other camera equipment reviews over here. See you next time.